Welcome back, everybody, to the Nosebleed Sports Podcast. Today we have Beef Week. Adam, are you excited as I am about Beef Week?
I'm excited about Beef Week. We've got a whole lot more besides that, but it's really going to be fun. We're looking at five current beefs in sports.
Yes. 5 current beefs in sports. I think you're really going to get a kick out of the last one. If you listen to the Nosebleeds podcast often, then you'll definitely understand the last beef. However, we got beefs. We got a little Cincinnati Reds action. Cody Bellinger, All-Star voting, and of course, the NBA Finals starts tomorrow.
Oh boy,
Thursday, April 30th, the first game of the 2019 NBA Finals. But we're going to save that for last. So all you big NBA fans, hang tight, hang out, and we will get to your NBA Finals a little bit later. Before that, I'd like to say that you can catch us every Wednesday, 10:30-ish on Facebook Live, which then gets put into YouTube and Thursday mornings, as well as, what else are we on? We're on, iHeartRadio, iTunes, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Play, blah, 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 blah. Wherever you get a platform of podcasts, we're there.
Netflix.
Netflix.
Are we on Netflix?
I think if you go to Netflix and go to YouTube, can you do YouTube through Netflix?
I don't think so. I don't know.
Man, I don't know how
we
this
are
stuff
not
works.
on Netflix. Do not go on Netflix and look for us. We're not there yet. We're working on it. I'm working on it right now. I'm not working on it.
Yeah,
it's not gonna.
that's gonna be
We're not on
difficult
Netflix. We're not on Netflix. I just wanted to throw it in there.
Not there. So anyway, so
no matter your level of fitness, Chris, if you like to be challenged, you want the benefit of working with a personal trainer without the cost of one, training personally with Peggy Edwards is where you need to visit. Training personally is interval circuit training for all levels with a personal trainer at your pace on your time. Peggy Edwards, owner-operator, keeps workouts safe. She keeps them fresh, always changing them up. She keeps them super fun. Visit Training Personally on Facebook, Instagram, and on trainingpersonally.com. Christopher, you have another friend of ours.
Yeah, I'll tell you, we here at the Witt household, just outside of Rum Dum Studios, is an outdoor pool in which my kids love to swim at. And in the summertime, mosquitoes can get a little bad. So what do? We call Ohio Mosquito Control. You can get a hold of them at ohio-mc.com at Ohio Mosquito Control. They offer quality service to the Cincinnati area at reasonable prices. They're family owned and operated. Professional mosquito control. Take care of all those little pesky bug bites. It takes a few attempts. The first time you kill just about every single one of them. The second time they're gone, and from there on out, dude, it's bite free summer, which is phenomenal. So go to ohio-mc.com. It's Ohio Mosquito Control. They are the pest of the pest.
I dream of a bite-free summer.
Yes. Well, hey, all you got to do is make a phone call.
Okay.
Or go to the website. You can schedule everything on the website. They will send you an email and a text if you want to set it up that way. When it's coming, when they're going to be there, when they're done, they send you another one with an invoice. Good to go. Bing bang boom, bada bing diddy doo.
That's very convenient.
That's right. We like convenience around here.
We do.
Speaking of convenience, how about the convenience of some of the funnest beefs going on right now in sports? So I'm gonna let you choose. First off, we've got 5 good beefs. All right, they're pretty good. We're not doing all-time beef, so there's no Spike Lee, Reggie Miller,
right?
And we're not putting Giannis and Drake in here because there was no beef there. That was just Drake being annoying. So, good night. This is gonna be something. Oh my gosh, I'm kind of happy KD's not playing game 1 and 2, and he may be able to play. Steve Kerr may be sitting him out just so he doesn't have to get involved in a Drake dispute on the court and mess with him. Might be the reason.
Kevin Durant and Drake have already gotten into a little thing before a couple of years ago.
I know.
And Kevin Durant famously said in the interview after the game, "I don't give a dang about no dang Drake." He didn't say dang.
I don't give a beep about no beep, Drake.
Yeah. which was one of the funniest things I've ever heard Kevin Durant say.
Yeah.
And Kevin Durant's going to come up in just a few minutes, but first we are going to start with a beef that I just learned about a couple weeks ago. Todd Frasier. So if you're a lot of Cincinnati Reds fans are listening to this right now, if you're a Reds fan, you were probably a pretty big Todd Frasier fan, one of the all-time fan favorites here. Now playing with the New York Mets. In between the Mets and the Reds, though, he played for the Chicago White Sox
For about a year and a half.
And during his tenure with the White Sox, he had a teammate in Adam Eaton.
Yes, he did. And apparently 23 guys in the 23 people in their in that clubhouse know that Adam Eaton did something.
Adam Eaton did something. There's something happened in 2006. Was it 2016? I think it was. They were teammates. They were locker mates. They had lockers right next to each other in the beginning of the season.
Right.
At some point, something happened. They didn't get along. Couldn't get along. Nobody really knows. Nobody will say exactly what happened. Neither guy.
Nope.
Something happened. They had to be separated. Their lockers had to be separated during the season.
I love that.
Isn't that crazy? That's some Barry Bonds, Jeff Kent kind of stuff.
That is some Barry Bonds, Jeff Kent stuff. So we don't know what it was. Right. However, Todd Frazier's not done with it. So Adam Eaton grounds out into a double play or something, and the whole time Todd Frazier is just getting at him. Letting
from
him
all the way across the field, by the way,
and walks all the way across the field. So at first I thought Adam Eaton got the best of this beef because immediately after the game, Adam Eaton is just calling him basically. He's like, I don't know what the guy's talking about. I'm just walking down to first base. I'm trying to figure out what he's doing, and he's yelling at me. And then as soon as somebody gets in front of him, then all of a sudden he's trying to come at me. I thought Adam Eaton did a good job. He had some snarky remarks. If you get a chance to go on YouTube, I strongly suggest checking it out. However, Frazier got the best of him.
He did.
Frazier got the best of him.
He did. So they both kind of just traded jabs through the media. Both basically called each other immature. Frazier did say, like you mentioned, ask the other 23 guys in that Chicago White Sox locker room from that year. They'll tell you what Adam Eaton's all about.
Exactly. And Ozzie Guillen, did you hear Ozzie Guillen got involved? Ozzie Guillen, who is part of the White Sox broadcast group, came out and said, Adam Eaton, nobody. What was the exact word?
Nobody liked you.
Nobody liked you. Nobody liked you in a White Sox uniform. Wow. That's big time. I mean, if you ask me, sounds like Frazier is on the good side of this beef.
He is.
Best quote, though.
Yes.
Best quote of the beef.
You got it.
Adam Eaton says, look, man, I'm just a grown man. I got kids. I can buy a car. I got a mortgage. I'm a grown man. Todd Frazier, best comeback. He says, listen, guys, I didn't want to get into this, but I heard what he had to say, and he basically said, he's got a mortgage and a kid. Well, I guess the only thing I can say is pay off your mortgage.
Right. Yeah.
You're a millionaire, dude. Come on, pay that mortgage off. What's the point? You're paying interest on something you don't need to.
And so this all happened. It was, I think, 2 Mondays ago. There was also, it was last season, I believe, Eaton had a hard slide, injured one of Frazier's teammates.
Broke his leg.
Yeah, Frazier had a lot to say to Eaton at that time. So it hasn't been 2 years or 3 years that they've been waiting. These guys haven't liked each other this entire time, and Frazier hasn't been secretive about it.
Nope.
Now, what happened the next day was kind of interesting too. First of all, to the mortgage situation, someone actually asked him, "Do you actually have a mortgage? You've made like $30 million playing baseball so far, or whatever it is."
He said it like 3 or 4 times. He's got a mortgage.
He does not have a mortgage, though. He cleared it up.
He doesn't
have one.
Then why did he say it 3 times?
Because I don't know. It's one of those.
You know what? Then that means that you lost this beef even more. If you can't even come out and say some sensible things that make sense, you're a grown man. I understand the grown man part. You got kids. I understand the kids part. You got kids. Beef start becoming a lesser thing for you. You realize what's important in life. But don't say you got a mortgage when you're a millionaire if you really don't. You don't need that part. You don't need that part of the argument. And Todd Frazier, well done by calling him out.
I'm a hundredaire. I have a mortgage. You are a millionaire. You do not.
Exactly.
Anyway, the next day, though, it was kind of interesting. They got together on the field before the game, and they discussed it. There was no hug. There was no smile.
Was there a dap? Was there a dap?
I don't even think there was a dap. They got together. They didn't really even make eye contact much. You know, they kind of just they hashed it out, but it didn't look friendly and warm. It looked like, you know what? We're gonna shelf this for a minute. But guess what? The Washington Nationals visit the New York Mets August 9th through 11th.
Ain't nothing gonna happen. This is over. I'm saying that's why we did this beef first, because I believe this beef is over.
We'll see.
Although it was really good for about a week.
We'll see if Adam Eaton makes it to third base in that series. We'll see what happens.
I doubt it.
Yeah, I doubt it too. Not off to a good start.
Frasier might make it to second, but I don't think Eaton's making it to third.
Okay. So Todd Frasier, your choice for the winner of that beef.
Yeah. What about you? You think Frasier won that?
Yeah, I would say so.
I think Frasier.
I don't know by a long shot, but I would say
it all comes down to the mortgage remark, and you get extra points he gets extra points for Adam Eaton not actually having a mortgage and saying something that doesn't even make sense anymore.
And also the support from Ozzie Guillen too. Todd Frasier
big time
had that support, so that was pretty big. Now, let's move on to number 2 here. One that really had a lot of steam until a few days ago. Kevin Durant versus Fox Sports' Chris Broussard.
Oh, yeah. This one's a little more interesting because this goes, not only is this the same as the Adam Eaton, Todd Frasier, where there's a lot of things that have been said that nobody knows about that have been, in personal meetings just between the two, but this has come out in social media. This has come out over the airwaves in live interviews. This has come out behind the scenes. You know more about it. Fill us in.
Chris Broussard has his own radio show. He's been one of the more prominent NBA writers for a pretty long time now.
Sure.
I've always been a pretty big fan of Chris Broussard. I like his stuff. I like everything he does in the media. He always seems to speak with some intelligence on the NBA and have good inside information. Now, Kevin Durant used to be one of my favorite players.
Used to be. My man's losing hype with everybody.
He's losing a little credibility. The more that he gets into it with media, the more he gets into it with refs, the fans, other players, especially the media. I mean, he has had what Chris Broussard calls their relationship as a love-hate relationship.
Sure.
Kevin Durant did not appreciate the comments that Chris Broussard made when he said Kevin Durant's worst nightmare is coming true. If the Warriors win the championship without Kevin Durant on the court, those 2 championships that he did win with them are going to be diminished. You're going to have an asterisk.
They're not going to. I don't think they're going to be diminished. But I think it's on KD's side of things. You're saying like KD's overall resume, his ending resume,
his
saying
legacy.
He's got two. Okay, I'm with you there.
Yes,
'cause it ain't. I mean, the Warriors won them too. But I agree that the KD legacy will be tarnished slightly.
Even more so because when he went there, most people were so against that move. Were so upset with him for going to the Warriors, who were already the best team in the league,
right,
and who had just beaten his Oklahoma City team in the playoffs.
Yeah.
So Kevin Durant responded. Didn't like it, right?
Hey, understandable. Yeah. But it's the way that he responds.
It's the way he responded. He basically said, "My worst nightmare. Are you serious? That you think that's the worst that's the worst it can get." Broussard comes back the next day on his show, says, "Look, KD and I have gone back and forth so many times. He said we have texted for hours, for 2-3 hours at a time on a few occasions about basketball, life, faith, everything." He said he comes at me a lot harder in private than you even know. I'm telling you, we have had a bunch of conversations.
I've heard that.
Durant responded on social media, on Twitter, and said, you don't have my number, man. Or he said, hold on, he said, clap, 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 clap. Is that what it was?
Is that what those are? Clap?
Was it clap? It's cap. It's cap.
Cap.
Cap. Which I have never heard of this before, but apparently that's a current term for lying.
Aha, okay.
Had no idea.
So he's like a snake in the grass kind
snake
of thing.
In the grass,
right?
another one of KD's favorite quotes.
Yeah.
He called C.J. McCollum that.
Yeah.
So Chris Broussard felt like his credibility was being challenged there by,
sure.
He Broussard's not lying about this.
Right.
So he came on and said exactly that. Look, don't act like I'm lying. You know that we've spoken. And then he came back on a show the next day and said, look, I have over 60 messages on between Instagram and Twitter, which by the way, direct messages, which by the way, in 2019 are texts.
Yeah.
You're
I come to figure that out. You know what real quick.
Yeah.
Apparently Snapchat is the way kids text now.
Yes.
What is it? What's going on with this world?
I don't know. I don't know why you have to open another
Chris Broussard
app, but
Kevin Durant. Let me tell you something. If y'all are texting for 2 to 3 hours, pick up the phone and talk to each other. Because I guarantee if you went back and read those texts, it'd probably take you 10 minutes to read through it, if that.
Yeah.
Have a conversation, dude. It'd take way less of your time.
Yeah. Yep. And apparently, well, they can't have a phone conversation because, according to KD, Broussard does not have his number.
Okay, so
anyway.
so that's what when he says texting, he's talking about through direct message.
Direct
Whatever,
messages,
same daggone thing.
Instagram,
Quit it,
Twitter.
KD. Quit being such a. See, that's
Right.
KD. Just that's why people don't like KD anymore, man. That's why they don't like KD.
So anyway, basically, Durant because Broussard has said things in the past and currently still continues to saying things about Durant that Durant doesn't like.
Right.
Durant, like he has in the past with the burner accounts that we know about and things like that.
Get him out on the tweet box.
He's got to hit up social media and he's got to defend himself or be defensive about everything.
It's
people
more
say.
just being defensive. That's what it is.
It
It's
is more being
defensive.
It is. If he took that defensive mindset onto the floor, he'd be an even better player. Now,
he's become a very good defensive player, by the way.
He has,
including his play on the court.
I guess it's worked for him. Then.
Whatever works.
Now, Broussard basically ended it by releasing a video on Twitter saying, "Look, KD has challenged my credibility here. I need to respond to that. Okay, I don't want to continue this Twitter beef or anything like that. I don't want to continue this beef." But I have to defend myself. I have to tell you, I have, and that's really where he said, I have over 60 messages. I'm not, and people were really on him about publishing them. He said, I am not publishing them out of respect.
Good for him.
To Kevin Durant, right? But I have all these. I have these here. I have them in my possession. I'm telling you, we have spoken a lot. He's come at me hard. I go back at him a little bit. We talk. That's the way it is. But I'm going to continue to love and respect KD, and I'm going to objectively analyze his game.
There's nothing wrong with that. That's what he should do. KD's going to get upset because that's just what KD does. So automatically I say KD loses this beef just because it's KD and a beef, because most of the time a KD beef was started by KD.
And that's, by the way, all those messages, Broussard says that KD direct messaged him first. Like he initiated those conversations.
I love Chris Broussard and I love Stephen A. Smith because my brothers are going to tell you exactly what happened, and don't try to call them out. You better have your facts together, especially Stephen A. You better have your facts together if you're going to call them out, because they are going to let listen. They'll all tell you, I ain't messing around. I ain't going to tell anybody's business about nothing. But if you come at me, I'm going to let everybody know. You better be careful. Yep. Better be careful, KD. So I say KD lost that beef.
These guys are professional communicators, by the way. So you're gonna lose to those.
Yeah,
guys.
You're done.
So my hope is that Kevin Durant comes back at some point during the finals, has a great game. In the press conference afterward, Chris Broussard is there, asks him a question, and they go back and forth in the press conference, and everybody gets to see it.
You know what I hope happens?
What's that?
I hope that he says, when Chris Broussard asks him a question in the press conference, he just says next question. Which brings us to our next beef.
Our next beef, Kevin Durant's former teammate Russell Westbrook. Russell Westbrook has an issue, we'll say, with a certain reporter from the Oklahoman.
The Oklahoman. Please, and this is another one. Get on YouTube and look this up. What's the guy's name?
Barry Trammell.
Barry Trammell.
Barry Trammell.
No relation to Allen. No relation
to Allen. Different spelling. Long-time reporter. Apparently he's been in the media for a long time. I didn't know about him until this, but he works in Oklahoma City, which I don't read any publications from Oklahoma City. So
no reason to.
No reason to.
Except for the fact that you're in love with Russell Westbrook. But you can handle that through ESPN.
Yes. So anyway, this goes back to 2017 after a playoff press conference. Barry Trammell asks Steven Adams specifically, Steven, when Russell Westbrook, for the last 2 or 3 games, when Russell Westbrook has gone out of the game, has sat on the bench, you guys have really struggled. Why do you think that is? He kind of explained it, like asked the question in more words than that. So as he's doing that, you can see Westbrook start twitching, grabbing the microphone. You can tell he's gonna jump in here. He said, "Hold on, Steven." As soon as the guy got done, "Hold on, Steven. Don't separate us. Don't try to separate us. Don't try to break up our locker room. Don't try to do that. We are a team. It doesn't matter whether I'm on the bench or whether I'm in the game or whatever. We win as a team. We lose as a team. Everything. We do everything as a team. This is a team. Don't break us up. Don't try to break us up."
He wasn't trying to break anybody up. He's asking an honest question.
Sure. Yes. I kind of understand where Westbrook would perceive it that way, but I also don't think that he was trying to do that.
Sure.
So, and he did. He immediately said, "Yeah, Russell, I'm not trying to break you up. I'm just asking, it's a fact.
These are the facts."
Yes. You sit whenever you go out for the last few games, they struggle. You guys struggle offensively. I'm just asking, and he would not. Nope,
next question.
Nope. Yeah.
Next question.
He said, "No, I'm not. We're done with that question. It's not. That's it. We're a team. Don't do that to us."
Ever since.
So he says next question. So nobody speaks up for 5, 6, 7 seconds, something like that. Nobody speaks up. He says next question. What's going on? Next question. Nobody speaks up. So the guy still has the microphone. All right, Barry Trammell still has the mic. He said, and he's been again a veteran, longtime veteran of the media.
He's written it for him for like 15 years or something like that.
He's gonna stand up for himself, right?
As he should.
So he says, "You know what? I'm keeping the microphone. I asked Steven Adams a question. If he wants to say I don't have an answer for that or whatever, if he doesn't want to answer, he can tell me that. I asked Steven Adams a question. I want an answer." And Russ really, really did not appreciate that. Of course, Russ wants to be in charge. We know that for sure. So
he could bully some of these younger guys, I think, or some new guys. But this dude's good for you in the media. Stand your ground. You got to do your job too.
Yes. So, and that's something Russell's gotta remember. And he has had issues with the media besides Barry Trammell, off and on for a long time. So
this guy's just way worse.
So yes. So he didn't like that at the beginning. So from the very beginning, he didn't like that. Now, fast forward to January of this past year. Okay, Russ,
in between this time, every time this guy asks Russell Westbrook a question, Russell just says, "Next question.
Next question.
Next question." Doesn't answer anything. Good for this guy to continue asking really good, solid questions, though, too.
Yes, and he said...
Check it out on YouTube. There's a whole montage of him just asking really good questions and Westbrook just saying, "Next question."
Next question. Next question. He's going to find one, though, that really, really makes Westbrook want to respond, whether it's angrily or happy or whatever.
Sure.
Now, so fast forward January of this season. I think they played the Lakers regular season game. Westbrook, not a great shooter, not a great free throw shooter. Struggled from the line, 3 of 7, I think it was, during the game, the free throw line. But got fouled shooting a 3 at the end of the game, made all 3 free throws to send that game into overtime. After the game, Another reporter asked Russell Westbrook, what do you think your issues are from the free throw? Why do you think you were having issues from the free throw line? Something like that, along the lines of, you didn't have a good night at the free throw line.
Right.
Westbrook kind of just gave a quick, just kind of dismissive answer or whatever. Didn't really want to deal with it. So then Barry Trammell comes in and says, okay, so you didn't have a great night from the free throw line. What about the 3 free throws that you made to send the game to overtime? What, after having a tough night from the line, what gives you that confidence? Where does that confidence come from? He said, gave him another just quick, I don't want to talk about free throw shooting, basically is what he said. So Barry Trammell, and this is where he said, I'm not 100% innocent in this whole thing. He said, so I got a little snarky and said, it doesn't sound like you want to talk about the free throws you missed or made. Westbrook, which isn't really that big a deal. But the thing was, it got a few laughs in the room.
Oh,
right?
Yeah. That's the last thing Westbrook wanted. Now we're in trouble.
So he feels like he got laughed at, right? And somebody got the best of him, or he just got laughed at. Just stared at him. Just gave him a glare, and he knew from then that was going to be it.
Yep.
So then he continued on, and it even got worse. And, we saw the one where he just flat out said, I don't like you. Yeah. I don't like you. I'm not going to answer your questions. I don't like you.
Next question. Yeah. I don't like you. I love it.
So next question on for the rest of the year. Barry Trammell is sticking to it, man. Like you said, he's not backing down.
He still asks great questions all the way up into the very last game, knowing Russell Westbrook's not going to answer him. Good for you.
An interesting thing.
Go ahead.
No, just about this is Barry Trammell said on a couple of occasions, like initially, I think it was from that initial press conference, or maybe it was another question he asked another time. Word got back to him that Westbrook did not like the question that he asked, and he said, I didn't even think anything of the question. It was a regular question. He said, but I pulled him. I asked Russell to come out with me out of the locker room for a minute the next day or the next time or whatever I saw him, and I apologized. I said, I didn't know, like I don't know what you were offended by, but I apologize. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to offend you or anything. He said he shook his hand. No problem. I understand. No problem. But
no, there's
in
still
the
a
media
problem.
When cameras are on,
there's
it's a different story.
Different story. So who won this beef? Who's winning the beef? This one's not over. This one's going to go on until Russ is at OKC, which may be another 15 years.
Yep. We'll see on Media Day in Oklahoma City in October.
I say Barry wins. Barry's winning this. I like anybody that can just stay stoic through the whole thing. Keep asking good questions. Do your thing, brother. I love it.
It's easy to pick Barry Trammell in this one because Russell Westbrook has been such a loose cannon, kind of, because he gets into it with fans so often. He gets into it with other players so often. As a matter of fact, when I started researching this, I put in Russell Westbrook beef. 5 different names came up.
Right off the bat.
5 different names came up as Russell Westbrook beef to search for in Google. Anyway, so I think we're both going with Barry here. Barry Trammell of the Oklahoman.
No doubt.
By the way, start looking at him. I mean, read his articles. Yeah. Support Barry Trammell.
Support Barry Trammell. Even if you love Russell Westbrook, which Adam does and I do as well, support my man for sticking with it and not backing down to backing down to the superstar in the room. Good for you, brother.
Exactly.
That makes you a superstar in my book. Barry, you're a superstar in my book.
That's sweet.
Superstar.
That's sweet.
That is sweet. Speaking of superstars.
Speaking of superstars, former superstars.
That brings us to beef number 4. Good, because I'm really excited about beef number 5.
All right, we'll make this one quick then.
All right. This is the biggest one that's going on right now, right?
Yeah, and we talked last week about Magician Johnson and Robert Pelinka.
Killing me.
Rob Lowe / Pelinka, Magician Johnson. The backstabbing that Magic accused Rob Pelinka of, which is a big part of the reason that he resigned as president of the league.
It was the reason why he resigned. If you ask Magic, that was it. It was Rob. Rob was the reason. Rob was the guy who made it happen.
Yes. Now, So we talked about it last week. We kind of thought because Magic went on Stephen A. Smith's show and came out with it, and we were surprised about
Let it all go.
how candid he was about everything. I thought it was over. Then a couple days ago, or maybe it was yesterday, Baxter Holmes of ESPN wrote a very long article because he dug way deeper into what has been going on in the Lakers front office and with that whole organization. It is a way bigger mess than we even knew.
We even know, you don't even know the amount of front office people that have resigned and quit in the past year, 2, 3 years because of all the craziness going on with the Lakers.
Front office people, coaching staff, and a lot of these people remained anonymous, but a lot of these people, former assistant coaches and former front office folks came out and gave all this information, talked about the culture that Pelinka and Magic Johnson were starting to build there. Both, by the way, rookies in the roles that they had. So all the big decisions were being made by guys who had never been in these roles before. Magic's been around basketball. He knows how that kind of stuff mostly works.
Right.
But Rob Pelinka hadn't. He was an agent. He knows some of that stuff, but not everything. So now they were tasked with working together and building back up this franchise. This, one of the most storied organizations in basketball.
Didn't work very well.
Failed miserably, actually.
Yes. And it's getting worse.
It's getting
more
worse.
And more is coming out. Magic Johnson's beef with the LA Lakers. It's hard to call this a beef, though. I started thinking about it. I call it a beef because Magic loves the Lakers. Mm-hmm. So I'm saying it's Magic's beef with Rob Pelinka.
Yes. But
however, I got a feeling there's a little bit of Kurt Rambis involved in this. Well, first off, let me ask you a question while we're in on this.
Yes.
Why is Linda Rambis continuing to be thrown in this? She doesn't even work for the Lakers.
Apparently
she has no title. I thought.
But she is very close with Jeannie Buss. And that's the thing about Jeannie Buss. She hires folks who are close Lakers people. So she's going to hire her friends. She hired Magic Johnson, who was her friend and
right.
and the greatest Laker of all time.
Careful now, Kareem.
Yeah, Kareem, Wilt.
Yeah, but Wilt's not known as a Laker. When Wilt was with the Lakers, it was way later in his career. I would say Kareem. Man,
Kareem was
I put
too.
Kareem. I put Kareem.
I know it's tough. It's tough. Let's not have that.
It's
debate
not
right
Wilt
now.
Okay.
Let's not have the debate right now. It's
continue.
Magic is at least one of the greatest Lakers of all time. He's top 2. He's the second best point guard of all time, and maybe second best player in Lakers history.
It's okay.
Anyway, the Lakers.
It's been 1 year and he didn't even play a full year. I'm still calling him a Cav. He's a Cav, just like.
Who's that?
Oh, I thought you were talking about LeBron.
Oh no, I just was looking at you when I said second greatest point guard of all time, because John Stockton.
John Stockton.
Anyway,
yeah, that's right. Sorry.
All this stuff came out. Everybody knows Magic as this guy that smiles constantly, super friendly, all the time. Never has anything bad to say about anybody unless it's Rob Pelinka. Folks that were working under Magic Johnson, working in the front office in any capacity, have come out and said Magic Johnson was a totally different guy in the office. When he was in the office, he was a totally different guy. Was a fear monger.
Wow.
One of these
tyrant?
former front office folks said he was a fear monger. He would go after people. He would tell people, I can replace you at any moment. You know,
that's the worst thing you can say.
He would really he told Luke Walton, who he did not hire. Luke Walton had been hired, and then Magic said, "You know what? Don't worry about now. This was last season. They had just gotten LeBron James. They added 4-5 brand new players." All these veterans
didn't fit very well, but they did add them.
No, and there were assistant coaches that talked about, and other front office people that talked about. Nobody understood these decisions were being made by only Magic Johnson, Rob Pelinka, and LeBron James. They were. They got LeBron James sign off at least. They were decisions being made by by basically those two guys without really consulting anybody else in the front office. So, which is okay because they're the decision makers, but it's not. It's better practice to get feedback from everybody else. None of these guys were going to fit. Nobody thought that. Even the coaching staff, guys that were on that coaching staff, came out and said, we were confused by these guys being added on. We had no clue what was going on. Didn't make any sense to any of us. We didn't add any shooters. We added Rondo, Lance Stevenson, JaVale McGee, Michael Beasley. We added all these guys that didn't make any sense for what we wanted to do.
That don't
here.
surround LeBron James the way you should.
Right. So, hopefully because of that, Magic Johnson told Luke Walton before the season started, look, don't worry about it if we get off to a rough start. It might be that way, right? Happened in Miami when LeBron went there.
Yep.
Brand new team. 8 games into the season. They lost a game. I think it was maybe Sacramento, somebody. Magic Johnson went in and tore Luke Walton a brand new face.
I remember hearing about that.
And was really, really on him about it. And Luke Walton and the rest of the coaching staff were like, what changed about this? I thought they were 3-5, right. By the way. They weren't 0-8. They were 3-5 after 8 games, which is better than what the Miami
slow
Heat.
Start.
Well, yeah, better than what the Miami Heat were back then, in whatever year that was that LeBron went there. So already they kind of knew, even previously, the year before, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope was playing for the Lakers the year before. His Rich Paul is his agent, who is also LeBron's agent. Rich Paul was hanging around the team a lot.
He was on the team flights, which apparently no agents are ever on team flights, but he was.
Correct. Rich Paul was around even before, though, LeBron got there, and they already got that feeling. The coaching staff, Luke Walton, already got that feeling like this guy is scouting, basically. He's scouting this team, scouting the coaching staff to handle LeBron however he sees fit or to report back, basically. So there was already this thing with Rich Paul and LeBron and the whole situation of bringing in LeBron and knowing what that meant. By the way, 3 people that served special roles with the Cavs and the Miami Heat while LeBron were there are now serving these special roles with the Los Angeles Lakers.
Sure. So it's LeBron's team. I mean, it's LeBron's team, and now that Luke Walton's gone, and now that Magic's gone, and all this has come out, you might as well just say now, all right, here's the deal. I'm Rob Pelinka. I'm the president now. You know what? It's already here's the reins. And this isn't part of
so much more that has come out, even besides what we just talked about.
Read the article. It's really good.
Baxter Holmes wrote it on ESPN.com. Go check it out. It's going to take a long time to read it because he talked to so many different people.
Especially if you're a guy like me who's a slow reader.
And me.
I
I'm
can't
with you
read
on that. I'm right there with you.
All sight words. I just know what the word is when I see it.
Let's move on to beef number 5.
The best beef of all. We've been waiting this whole time. We've been waiting this whole time. The whole reason I wanted to do Beef Week is because the world has a beef. I'm sorry, the Pittsburgh Pirates have a beef with Derek Dietrich. That is not the beef that has made it on our list, though. The beef that has made it on our list, number 5, or what I would like to call the number 1 beef, is Adam Schmidt, my co-host of the Nosebleed Sports Podcast, versus Derek Dietrich of his Cincinnati Reds. Adam, this is very simple. Derek Dietrich loves to watch home runs, and he does it when they're up 11-0. He does it when he hits game winners. He does it whenever he wants. Guess what? I love it. The world loves it. Cincinnati Reds fans love it. You still don't. What is your beef with Derek Dietrich?
If he continues to hit home runs, it's harder to dislike him.
He's got 17 home runs. All of last year, he had 16.
Yes. So he already has a career high. We're a third of the way into the season, not even. after last night's game.
And that dude's chiseled out of stone.
He is chiseled out of stone.
He could like I feel like Michelangelo made him or something. He's a good-looking man.
He is. He's a.
I feel like they should maybe paint his jersey on him from now on. Like they do in the Sports Illustrated swimsuit editions, where you get a good-looking girl, you paint it on, and so you can really see every line. Yeah, I'm in for that.
And that is exactly one of my issues and why I have beef with Derek Dietrich, because he knows that.
Yeah, he does.
And he happily flaunts it.
Yes, he does. He buttons the shirt way down. He got the chains clacking. I love it. Let the kids play. I love the let the kids play.
Letting the kids play.
Let's let the kids play.
He's
a
hate
kid.
that, by the way.
What, you hate let the kids play?
I hate that. I hate
what?
that. I hate just that
because you're an old man.
No.
Let the kids play, man. Let the kids play.
First of all, not kids. Second of all.
First of all, yeah, they're kids. You're in your early 20s. You're a kid.
Derek Dietrich's not in his early 20s.
How old is he?
27 or something, probably.
I don't think so. I think he's like 25. That's early 20s to me.
Okay. That's early 20s to you?
That's a kid to me. Let me just put it that way. That's a kid to me. That's a kid.
What is mid-20s to you?
Kid.
Only 26?
No. Yeah. 26 and 27.
What is... Okay, never mind.
Anyway.
I just have a thing. It by the way, started... If you listen to this podcast regularly, it started for me when he hit the home run against Chris Archer several weeks ago now. He stood there and watched it. Batting Stance Guy, if you follow Batting Stance Guy on social
he's got
media.
Some good ones. He literally laid down in the batter's box after he hit a home run. Hey,
and I've been joking about that's what he did, and then Batting Stance Guy did that. Please follow that guy. He's so good at doing everybody's batting stance and swing. He's super talented.
I'm going to tell you this right now. I think he's been slacking a little bit.
Really?
Yeah, I do. I think he's got a little bit of the original stance in the box down, but the swings haven't been that great here as of late. And what gets me is the goofy running thing he does after he hits it. He's always making weird moves as he's running down the base. Derek Dietrich struts down the first
and
base.
that's why he does. That's why he does it for that one.
But there's one with there was one of Reggie Jackson, and he does some kind of waddle weird. That's not. That
Reggie Jackson was an odd guy. Maybe he did that. I don't know.
I'm just telling you, it's too much.
I get you.
It's too much. However, I do like the guy, and I do like that he laid down in the batter's box because it is what Derek Dietrich does. But he owns it. My man owns it.
Yes, and that's part of my problem. That's what I was getting at is he struts, he stands there and watches, he just has this aura about him, this kind of cockiness.
It's not kinda. He's cocky.
Okay, and I just don't like that. And I think it's disrespectful in some cases. I don't think he hit 3 home runs yesterday, by the way.
Yes.
To bring his total to 17 and to make his last 6 before going into today's game. I'm not sure what he did this afternoon. Last night's game, his last 6 hits were home runs. That's ridiculous. He is on fire, by the way, which is terrific.
Sure.
I love he's hitting, let's see, in the last
262.
Yeah, and in the last week he's hitting 318. 400 on base though. I mean, he was already hitting pretty well.
And 6 home runs, 7 home runs.
Yeah, and on fire right now.
He's on fire, and he's great, and you should love him.
But I don't because of this little extra swagger that I feel like he has. And because
So I want to tell you something. I saved it for right this very second, and I've been really excited about it.
Okay.
I got a hold of Derek Dietrich on the tweet box.
Okay.
He is coming on the show next week.
Good. Our cousin Tyler Roop, host of the Cheap Seats on UCLA Radio.
Yeah.
He got a hold of Derek Dietrich.
Did he really?
On Twitter. Was it Twitter? I think it was Twitter today.
Yeah.
Yes. No, yesterday.
And what happened of it?
He said hit a home. Tyler said hit a home run for us fans at UCLA. That guy hit 3 home runs that night.
See, how can you not love a guy like that? By
And
the
then
way,
responded.
I didn't get a hold of him. He's not coming on the show.
Well, maybe you should
But
get a hold
now
of
I'm
him.
going to.
Now you should get a hold of him, and I will ask him, and maybe we can squash our beef.
I would love it. I would love to see. I know you will squash the beef if he comes on because you will back down and cower like a little I don't know, something
like the opposite.
You will
of Barry
fold like
Trammell.
a lawn tray, like the opposite of Barry Trammell. You will not stand your ground. You will not. I know what's going to happen. Maybe I need to get our boy Bobby Nightingale Jr. to help us out and make this happen. But I want to get Derek Dietrich on the podcast. I want you to confront him, and I want to sit here and smile the whole time.
You know something I found out about Derek Dietrich yesterday that I did not know?
What's that?
From Cleveland, Ohio.
Yeah.
Went to Cleveland St. Ignatius.
Oh, really? St.
Super
Ignatius guy.
Athletic powerhouse.
So he's 29 years old.
29.
He would not have been, he still wouldn't have been in high school when I was there because we played Ignatius. Elder played Ignatius twice when I was at Elder, I believe.
Yeah, they've played him several times now. But 29. So you're right, early 20s. So he's in his early 20s. So he's just a kid. So I do. You're right.
I still say
I need to give him a break then because he's just a kid. He doesn't know any better at this point.
Don't patronize me.
He's okay. So
I understand that maybe you don't see him as a kid, but if you're more than 2 years younger than me, you're a kid.
He's a kid compared to me, I guess.
Yeah,
but
he is.
But he's 29 years old, and he still has this. He's got his shirt way unbuttoned and this enormous gold chain.
When you got
and this
pecs like
slick
that,
back
when
hair,
you got pecs like
it's
that, you would do it too.
1990.
Hey, you know what? It works for him, don't it? Does it work for him? Does it work for him?
Not to me. It probably works for him with the ladies, maybe. I don't know.
I don't even care about that. I'm just talking about my man gets up there, looks good, feels good, and has a good time doing it.
Hey, if you look good, you're going to play well, right? Who
That's
said
right.
that? Somebody said that. I forget who it was. Anyway, as long as he keeps hitting and keeps playing well, I'm happy.
I want to see if I can get Derek to come onto the podcast. I really do now. Now I'm going to. Can you direct message somebody on Twitter? How do I do that?
Yeah,
or do we both have to follow each other?
I thought they had to follow you too, but I don't know. We'll have to ask Tyler because Tyler got a hold of him. Maybe he follows Tyler. Anyhow,
I love it, Derek. If you're listening, or if you ever listen, feel free to get a hold of me at SickWitted on the tweet box. SICWHITTIT. We want to have you on to squash the beef because it's the only way it's going to happen. You're going to have, and if this happens, if we can get Dietrich on the podcast and you guys quote unquote squash your beef because you're just too scared to stand up to him over the phone, then you're not allowed saying another word about Derek Dietrich ever again.
Okay, that's a promise.
That's the deal.
And this beef, by the way,
yeah,
is the same beef as Drake Giannis because I'm Drake and he's Giannis because he has no idea about the beef. He has nothing to do with it. It's just my beef, really.
Exactly.
I just want the guy to show a little bit of humility and respect to the game and the folks that he's playing against, and I'll be happy. And then continue playing the way you're playing. Which brings us to
real quick. I just want to say that speaking of Tyler Roop, Nosebleeds, Cheap Seats podcast at UCLA Radio, I got to give it up to him. A new phrase. I thought I knew every baseball phrase there was. My man pimps the nuke every time he pimps the nuke.
Tyler's such a millennial. He's in his early 20s, just like Dietrich.
Every time I hit a nuke, I'm gonna pimp it out.
Okay. All right, yeah, we need these millennials like Tyler Roop to come on here and tell us old guys about what the current terms are.
I could throw some old school baseball stuff at you all day long, but Pimp the Nuke is my new favorite one.
and he also has coined a new nickname for Derek Dietrich. Did you see that?
I did. Derek Double Dinger Daddy Dietrich.
I love alliteration.
It's a 5D.
I love alliteration.
That's a 5D.
I'll take that, I guess.
It's not a double D. It's not a triple D or quad D. It's a 5D. Is it an octa D? It's an octa D.
No, that's 8.
Oh, is it?
It's
Derek Double Dinger Daddy.
Quintuplets is 5, isn't it?
I don't. Yeah, it's a quint D.
Quint.
It's a quint D. Oh, Derek Double Dinger Daddy Dietrich pimping every nuke. Ugh. Love it. I'm getting excited right now. All right, here we go.
You and Tyler continue your love fest some other time
right,
with
there
Derek
you go.
Dietrich. But we do want, I mean, that brings us right
into the Reds.
Right. And we're starting there with the MLB triple play this week. Our three big things about Major League Baseball. We're going to just go ahead and cover the Reds because we live in Cincinnati. We are lifelong Reds fans. That's just going to be part of it. So far, and we talked to Bobby Nightingale about this last week. So far, the pitching's been terrific.
Yep.
The hitting has not been there. In the last week and a half, something like that, 2 weeks maybe, they finally started hitting. Most of the guys have finally picked it up a little bit at the plate. They're finally starting to hit. At least in the last 7 games. Now, Votto's missed the last few, and he's supposed to be back, I believe.
Is it an injury that we've got with Votto, or are they just letting him sit out and take a little breather?
It's an injury. There's what was it? There was something that was nagging him. I don't think it was anything that he had to be out for sure.
And he's been hot lately too.
Yes.
My man's been hitting like 420 over the past 2 weeks.
556 over the last 7. Over the last 7 games, which he only played 4. So over his last 4 games, 556. He's on base 55% of the time.
He's bumped his batting average up from 209 to 240, 242, something like that.
Right. Besides Votto, you have Senzel. He's hitting 344 in the last week.
Still strikes out too much, but he's a rookie, understandable. But when he is making contact, he's making good contact, and really hitting the ball well.
Correct. Tucker Barnhart is hitting 333 in the last week. Poor guy's still under.
Is he below
under 200? I believe.
Is he still hitting on the interstate?
Yes, the Mendoza line. Yeah, but he's hit 333 in the last 7 games. Kurt Casale's been there. Jesse Winker has picked it up a little bit. He was hitting like 221 last week, I want to say, and he's hitting 320 in his 320 in the last 7 games. Dietrich's hitting 318. Puig, what's that?
Go ahead.
Oh,
what's
sorry.
Puig doing? What's my favorite? How great is it that Puig's not even the conversation point at this point on the Reds?
Puig is, that's true. For the flair and the dramatic stuff that he's most known for,
right?
He's not the most
not
dramatic,
on this team.
Flamboyant guy on the team. But anyway, so he's picked it up a little bit. His average is still way down there. Poor Jose Peraza just can't get it going.
Peraza can't get it going, and unfortunately, that brings me to what I want to say about Scooter Gennett coming back. Scooter Gennett's traveling with the team now, and he's taking infield and doing a little bit more, and they're thinking another 2 or 3 weeks, and he might be back. In that case, Peraza at this point in time might be the odd man out, and he's supposed to be the future of this infield.
Yes, and it's going to be.
You're not taking Iglesias out.
You can't.
You can't take Iglesias out. The guy's hitting like 520 with runners in scoring position. It's silly.
And he's your best defensive player, probably, period.
Yeah, probably. And then, you've already got a 4-headed monster in the outfield right now with Senzel, Winker, Dietrich, and Puig. Mm-hmm. Those guys are all going to stay. You got Phillip Ervin, who should be. I mean, that guy, every time he comes up, it hits the heck out of the ball. Mm-hmm. It's at the point now where when Scooter comes back, who's gone? Scooter, I mean, had a run at an MVP year.
Yeah, he did. For most of the year, he did. It does seem like to me like Peraza, at least right now. Now, in the next 2 or 3 weeks,
or do they get rid of one of their 3 catchers? Farmer, Casale. I mean, Farmer can play everywhere, I know, but Farmer, Casale, and Barnhart are all there. Does Casale get dropped down? Because Farmer's been hitting the ball great too when he gets a chance to play.
But he hardly ever catches. He's basically kind of like an emergency catcher. So I don't know that you want to put him into that backup role because Tucker Barnhart's not going to catch every single day. It's not. You don't want to have him and an emergency catcher.
So you have Casale. So is Farmer the odd man out? Who's the odd man out in this situation?
I think he's too valuable because of his ability to play so many different positions
and his bat off the bench. He's going to be your best bat off the bench right now.
Except
for maybe Jared Lorenzen. I keep calling him Jared Lorenzen. I'm going to throw myself through a window. Michael Lorenzen. I have no idea why I keep doing that.
That's okay. I mean, their bodies couldn't be more opposite. But
so weird.
Jared Lorenzen, he was.
What was he? The hefty lefty?
Yeah,
the hefty lefty. I have no idea what I'm doing. Go on YouTube and watch
Former
Jared Lorenzen.
quarterback, of
Yeah,
the Kentucky Wildcats.
Go on
and several
YouTube and
arena teams.
watch him in the Arena League a couple years ago. He's on a green team and he's just a monster.
He's like 400 pounds and he's awesome. He's an awesome quarterback.
Yeah.
He can sling
He's still good for an Arena League guy who plays, whatever. Anyway, so
the team's finally starting.
Finally starting to hit.
Okay, so now we've got.
This is what we've wanted all year. We keep talking about it. So now it's time. The Reds need to run off 7 or 8, and they're right there. I mean, they're 5 games out of first place right now.
Yeah,
that's not bad. Now you got to jump 4 teams,
right?
And that is what it is. But really, all it takes is 1 game, and you're in second place.
And right now, those other 4 teams are struggling a little bit. The Reds are 5-5 in their last 10. That's the best record in their last 10 of anybody in this division. Yeah. Everybody else is 4-6,
4-6, 4-6, 3-7. Yeah. So, but still, and there's still 6 games out. I apologize. There's 6 games out right now, but they've got to go on a streak. You can't just keep going 500 every time. It seems like they're right there. Like the same thing with when they got to get to 3 games under 500. They were 0-8 this year. When they were 4 games under 500 with an opportunity to get to 3, 0-8. Now, they finally broke that and did it the other night and then lost again today. They have these great wins and they're fun games, and then they end up going 500. Like you're playing the first place Cubs. You get the first 2, you have an opportunity, and you end up splitting. You every time there's an opportunity out there, they're just splitting. They've got to win. They've got to take more series. They need to go on some kind of 4, 5, 6 game streak and win a couple series on either, bookend it with a couple series wins. And this team really does have an opportunity at a wild card or probably more at a division right now because the Cubs are struggling.
They are, and they really are still in the thick of a wild card spot. Like right now, they're 4 games under 500, but there aren't very many other teams in the National League that are running away with anything. The Dodgers are 36-19; they're the best team in the National League. Philadelphia is 10 games over 500. Everybody else is like 5 games above 500 or less.
Right.
The Reds are 4 games under, but that's really not that, especially because one of the most amazing stats, and I think Bobby may have mentioned it last week, but they are 26-30, and they are a plus 36 run differential.
It's unbelievable.
That's second best in the division.
Yeah.
And Pittsburgh is 27-27, and they're 63 runs less than they've given up, and they're 500. It's odd.
That shows you a young pitching staff though, because when they get beat, like the Reds did to them the other night, 11-4, 11-6, or whatever it was, and it should have been less than that. Because they left Sims in, who pitched a phenomenal game for his first ever big league start and ended up giving up a grand slam in the 8th, which the fact that he made it 8 innings, 1, on this team with Bell as your manager is amazing. 2, maybe that goes to show why Bell takes him out when he does, because he got to that and gave up a grand slam, is what it is. It didn't hurt. They won 11-6, but that's the thing. You're losing by 5-6 runs when you're getting your losses, and they're only winning by 1 or 2. Yeah. So that can't hold up. To me, that can't hold up. Pittsburgh can't hold up playing that way. We're a little over a third of the way in. The Reds are going to jump them, and the Reds are hitting so well right now. This number could even go up, and if it does go up, the Reds can only get better.
There's I don't know if it's really an advanced statistic, but an expected win-loss, which is based on the run differential, essentially, what your record should be based on that.
Right.
The Reds are 32-24 expected win-loss record, which would be the best record in the division.
There you go.
They just have to figure out, like you said, how to put it together at the same time and how to get a little win 4 out of 6, 6 out of 8. 8 out of 10. They've got to go on one of those streaks, and they have to make sure they're beating the in-division rivals. They have to beat the Cubs, the Brewers, the Pirates, and the Cardinals. They have to beat they split a 4-game series.
These teams all beat up on each other. Yeah. We're all beating up on each other right now, but that is exactly what needs to happen.
If you want to gain ground in this division,
you got to beat them when you play them.
And you also have to beat the teams that you're expected to beat. They're 17-24 against teams under 500.
Mm-hmm.
That's not, you can't be a good team and lose to teams more often than not that are not good teams. They've got to get it together. They're trending in the right direction, though. That's the theme here. They're trending in the right direction because they're starting to hit. And as long as the pitching, I mentioned it last week, I didn't think, or maybe 2 weeks ago, I don't know that the pitching is going to stay this good all year. Maybe they're not going to be one of the best 2 or 3 staffs in the league. As long as they stay like in the top 10, top 8, something like that, and then get back up to maybe a top 10, top 12 offense, that's where I think they're going to be good. I think they are going to start winning a lot more games and go on one of those runs. We just have to see it. It just has to happen.
On that note, let's switch on to number 2 of the triple play. I'd like to go over our friend in LA. Cody Bellinger is having a year for the ages. He currently would win the Triple Crown at this moment in time. He's tied for first in RBIs, but he's leading the league. I'm sorry, no, he wouldn't. He's one behind Christian Yelich on the home run mark. Yelich's got 21. He's got 20. However, I mean, he's right there. This kid is he's hitting 382. 382. I mean, he's on a George Brett type year going right now. I mean, he continues this, and he's got an opportunity to flirt with 400. First guy since Ted Williams. I mean, this is ridiculous. Now, we are way early in the season to talk about that, and I probably shouldn't even bring that up. However, 382 at this point in time is really good. So this kid's having a year of all years, and I believe there are some crazy stats out there that get really historic and put him with some names that probably shouldn't be with, but at the same time, how can you take him out of you can't take him out of the situation, out of the conversation.
We know all the hitting stats. You just said he's leading all of baseball in hits, second in home runs, first in RBIs, batting average, on base, slugging. He leads all of baseball in all of those categories. The guy also has a rifle arm in right field.
Absolute cannon.
He also leads major league right fielders in assists. He has thrown 7 guys out. Next highest is 4. He's almost doubled.
It's ridiculous.
The second place guy.
It's ridiculous.
He is the first player since Babe Ruth did it in 1932 to have 19 home runs, 7 outfield assists in the first 52 games.
Wow.
That is, he's just doing it from both.
Since what year?
Since 1932. Look it up, because I could be wrong.
No, I believe you. I just, he hit.
It is 1932.
Yeah.
That's any time, like you said, it is early. It's early, but we're almost a third of the way. When your name gets put in the same sentence as Babe Ruth,
it's automatically something ridiculous.
It's something ridiculous, and it's fun to see every single day, even if you're just watching ESPN or watching a sports channel, and you have the scroll across the bottom, the box scores or whatever come up, and they give you the hitting leaders and the winning pitcher and losing pitcher and all that kind of stuff. It's so rare to not see Cody Bellinger 2 for 4, 3 for 4, home run.
Babe Ruth was at the end of his career in 1932.
That's how good he was.
He was.
That's what I thought. I thought the assist thing was weird because I think of him as a pitcher.
No, you don't. Well, you think of him as a right fielder, but I don't think of him as at the end of his career. Just think of him being just a home run hitter and a big fat guy. Mm-hmm. I don't think of him as being a fielder at all, really. To be honest,
I didn't either.
So I'm thinking that maybe that happened like I'm thinking that would be in the 20s when he was part of one of the best lineups in all of baseball was in 1927 or whatever. Yep. When Murderers Row, but I don't think of at the end of his career of him being a fielder. But God, that's amazing.
It is.
That's ridiculous.
It is.
That guy, Babe Ruth, was amazing. A career 342 hitter. 700. That's just unbelievable. He's unbelievable.
It is, and it's weird because such a different time then, and you didn't have baseball wasn't integrated yet. So what was his competition? He was playing, I'm sure, against the best.
Listen, I understand that. At the same time, he was
those numbers
so
are
much
ridiculous for any
He was
era.
so much better than every other person in that era. It's not even funny. I mean, it's not even close.
And the records that he has have stood the test of time, and he really is. He really probably is as good as advertised. I was for a long time wanted to call him a little overrated, but every time every time I go back and look at numbers, and you see every time somebody has just a ridiculous couple weeks or something like that,
it gets put in the conversation with one person.
You see what Babe Ruth did.
Yeah.
His name is in it, just like Wilt Chamberlain in basketball. Like every streak, every incredible,
every crazy stat that you don't think can be broken is had by one of those guys.
Yes. So anyway, good for Cody Bellinger. I would love to see the guy stay right in the 380s, maybe 390ish, and then see if he can get to the end of the year.
You got to be at like you're gonna have to be 394. You're gonna have to be around 394 going into the last month to have an opportunity at it, and then you're still gonna have to hit like 420 in that last month. I mean, you think about how many at bats you got throughout the year. You got to be pretty high. You got to be close to really put yourself in a position to have a month to break it.
Yeah.
To get to 400. That's not, dude, I'm telling you right now, I don't know that anybody will ever hit 400 again. And this is so early in the season to even talk about it. Mm-hmm. And I hate doing stuff like that. Maybe when the All-Star game's over, which isn't even halfway through the year, maybe we start talking about it then. But at this point in time, just to think about 400. Right now, with how many strikeouts and how the base hit really is not worth what people have made it worth forever. It's about scoring runs and hitting the long ball, so there's more strikeouts, more flyouts, blah, blah, blah. To think that somebody can lead the league in home runs or be in the top 2 or 3 in home runs and flirt with that 400 number is it's Albert Pujols-like in the early prime of his career. It's Mike Trout-esque. I mean, I can think of literally 2 or 3 guys that could put together a year like that when they were in their prime or at any time that are playing right now. Or ever. Obviously, he's in the conversation with Babe Ruth in that case. So
he's going at an all-time pace right now. We'll see if he can sustain it. Most certainly, unless barring some injury or something like that, the guy's going to be an all-star, of course.
He will be an all-star.
And that gives us an opportunity to bring up the third thing in the
unless of course the fans screw it up like they've been known to do in the past. However, I really have not heard about this. So the third part of the triple play continue, because this is something I know nothing about. You've read an article. There's a new way that we are voting for an all-star game in the Major League Baseball, which we've had this conversation for 2 years now on this podcast. We hate all-star voting in every aspect of it. Sounds like the Major League Baseball is trying to do something about that.
They're trying to do something about it is right. So they're what's strange is I kind of don't want to like it because they're setting it up like an election, and I just can't stand politics so much. But what they're calling
anytime you're voting for anything, it's complete. It's political as it gets.
Yeah, that's true. But but they're actually calling it so. The first part, which is going on right now, started yesterday, May 28th, and this goes on. You have a chance to vote for the All-Stars starting yesterday through June 21st, okay? This is called the primary. So it is just like an election. This is called the primary, where you have an opportunity to go in, you fill out the All-Star ballot just like you always do. Now, there are a couple different ways you can do this, though. You can go to MLB.com, you can get on the At-Bat app, however any Major League Baseball avenue, you get on there, get the ballot, and you vote like normal.
Okay? Right.
Vote for one guy at each position in each league, 3 outfielders, fine. You can also, though, they have partnered with Google this year, where you can get on Google, type in, search for you can get a Google ballot by searching for several different things: MLB All-Star voting, MLB ballot, whatever. It'll bring you up a ballot right there. Click on it, start voting. Or you can type in vote and a certain player's name.
You don't even have to do that. I just typed in Cody Bellinger, and it popped up and said vote for Cody Bellinger.
There you go. So you can do that. You can vote for 17 different individual players, and you don't doing it that way, and you don't have to follow the position guidelines. You can vote for 17 shortstops each day. By the way, you get I believe it's 5. You get 5 votes. 5. You can fill out 5 ballots each day,
okay,
or 17 different players each day, through the primary, which again ends June 21st. Once that's over, on June 21st, the top 3 vote getters at each position and the top 9 in the outfield in each league.
I kind of like this.
I kind of like it too. Move on to the starters election, is what they're calling it.
Okay.
The starters election.
I still feel like you still are putting it all in the fans' hands.
You are.
Which I'm not 100% great with.
I agree with that.
And now you're just but you are taking the top 3 vote getters, which one of those 3 is probably going to be the guy who deserves it. Yes. And then you're not letting any other minutia garbage vote getters get to take away when you're getting closer to the end voting. So I do kind of like this. It's a step in the right direction.
Exactly. It is a step in the right direction. Now, once the starters election starts, that starts on June 26th, Wednesday, June 26th at noon, and it only lasts until the very next day, June 27th at 4 o'clock. So you have 28 hours to vote, and the top 3 vote getters in each position, the numbers start all over. Everybody starts at 0 again. So the votes that you get beat out Chris Witt at shortstop by 900 million votes, but we're both in the top 3. Chris, no, I have 900 million more votes. He's the all-star starter. So you vote then for 28 hours. You get one chance, by the way.
Wow.
One vote, one ballot. During that 28
per IP
hours.
address or per what? I mean, how do they
Probably.
know?
Yeah. Probably per email address.
Not even. I mean, is it going to be like this where I can just jump on Google and click? Oh no, it's going to. This will.
We'll have 28 hours to then vote between the top 3 guys at each position, top 9 in the outfield. There will be no more final vote. No more final vote. So all of the reserves and the pitchers are selected by the players and managers.
Good. Let's get everybody who deserves to be in there on the team.
Totally agree.
Agree. I mean, that's kind of how it goes anyway. But yeah, I'm good with that.
Yes. So that's it. But you have a very limited time once the primary is over and the starters election voting begins. You got to get on there on Wednesday night or whenever. That's when I'm going to have to do it.
Make it happen.
We'll
do it right here on the show.
Let's do it.
We'll do it on the show.
Let's do a live vote right on the show.
Sometime in July or January or June.
June 26th.
Oh, that's not good. I'm gonna be in. I'll be in Myrtle Beach on June 26th.
Okay.
We can still do it on the show because we'll do a live. We're still gonna do the live show. So
we'll do it the same way. I'll probably do it from my house, and you'll call in, and
and we'll still make it happen.
And I have internet access at my house, unlike here.
I don't know why my internet. You're. I mean,
it's something
we're able
to do
all this
with my computer, I think, because my phone gets it fine.
Okay.
Anyway, so that but. Like you said, I agree with you. I'm with that. It's a step in the right direction. Now, I agree again with you in that we need to take another step at some point in the direction of taking at least some of the voting out of the fans' hands for starters.
To do that, how do you do that? Is there a customer service number you can call?
I don't think there is, but it's funny you say that because, Chris, have you been – I'm sure everybody's been in this situation. you have some sort of issue with something, you have to call a customer service line.
I used to be
get
a
fixed.
customer service rep at a bank.
So you know all about angry customers,
Oh, yes.
people who have no patience,
The-
people who have gotten the runaround before they spoke with you from somebody else you work with, maybe.
Yep. That's
Who-
usually how it is. It's usually I would get somebody passed off to me, and the more angry you are, the more happy I get, and the more smile on the other side of the phone, and the nicer I am to you.
I wish I could have been there and just watched you work in that position.
I loved every
Because
second of it.
I bet you would be so good at that, because you are such a nice guy, and such a, you can
Not
really
always, but
you can really make people's day, because you're so positive. But you can be a little bit of a troll with it too, right?
Oh, 100%.
Right?
Yeah, troll, yeah, or facetious or
Right.
sarcastic, whatever the word might be.
But you try to make it seem to them
Oh,
like,
yeah.
and it's a little game you're playing in your head, a little cat and mouse with them.
How much can I get away with?
Right.
Always with a smile on my face.
Yes. So it was funny. I did get to listen in on a person that I work with, who was in the office next to me today.
Do
on
they
the
listen
phone.
to the podcast?
I do not believe they listen to the podcast.
Boy, I hope not. They're about to know you was listening in on them.
If they, well, I mean, she didn't close her door to her office, which she should have done in that case. But
Oh, yeah, that is what it is.
her office is right next to the one I was working out of today. So she was on the phone, really upset about. She was nice at first, but she was on the phone for like over an hour and talked to 3 or 4 different people.
Oh, man, that's
And
not
the first
good.
guy really messed things up for her even worse. So
It's usually what happens.
Yeah.
Is the first person you get is some rum-dum who's doesn't even really know what's going on, and they tell you something incorrect. And now the next person on the phone has to tell you what's actually correct.
yes.
And my favorite thing was always, I apologize that we told you that. That was incorrect information. We should never have.
Real
done that.
Russell Westbrook, we're a team. Don't separate us.
100%.
Okay.
100%. Hey, we screwed up. Let me fix this for you.
You're a team player. I'll tell you what.
I got no problem. I'm not throwing anybody under the bus. That ain't going to happen.
Good for you.
Yeah, I don't throw anybody under the bus.
Good for you. It's so funny though when you get to now. It's pretty unpleasant when you are the person that has to call.
Oh,
You're
I've
getting
been on
the
that side,
runaround.
too.
You're getting the runaround, and it's tough. It's easy to fall into the okay. I'm getting impatient here. I need something fixed, and these people are not helping me do that. Or it's way more work, or it's way more difficult than it should be, or
Right.
Something's not working out, and you go over and over and over. My dad deals with
yeah.
that stuff a lot of times.
Oh, yeah.
He's had so many instances where he's been on the phone so many times trying to get something worked out that wasn't correct on a bill, or
Yes.
a password that's not working now, or something like that. And it's just so funny to observe it from an outsider's perspective.
Sure.
But really tough to be in that situation on the phone. But funny probably for the person who
Is
who
on the
is
other
on the
line.
other line. The
I don't know
customer
if
service
I don't
rep.
know if that's true, because where I worked, there was maybe 2 people like me. No, everybody else, like, there were people get nasty with you. They
Yeah.
get nasty with the customers. Now, on the other hand, have you ever gotten nasty with a customer service rep?
I don't feel like I have. I've probably gotten a little bit on the frustrated side,
Irritated?
but I'm so aware of people in any service
Yeah,
industry or
sure.
anybody like that in that job. I'm so aware of what it probably is like for them and how awful people must be to them all the time that I don't want to be lumped into with the
People
rest of
are
the people.
awful to them all the time.
I-
They're completely awful to when I was doing it. They're awful all the time, and a lot of people can't take that. Now, I bet this is how you are, because this is kind of what I do. Is the whole, like, if I feel a little bit of agitation, first off, I don't try to I never yell or scream or anything like that.
Sure.
But the whole time is, listen, I'm not mad at you. I just want you to know that I'm not upset with you. I'm upset with the way that this is going down.
Mm-hmm.
But it's always, I want to make sure you know This is nothing against you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
but those people hear that, I feel like, enough where they're like,
I don't
you're
think they
saying
do,
that
no,
to be nice.
They don't hear that enough.
You don't
no,
think so?
no.
Okay.
Normally it's you did this, you did this, you did this.
People don't have very good critical thinking skills. It's just not. People are easily. It's such a self-serving world. I feel like in a culture now, especially now, that it's just so easy. You know, everything you get, everything immediately that you want, pretty much all the time.
Right.
So when something like that doesn't work out, now it's devastating, right, for people, and people don't know how to handle it.
They don't know how to handle it because they feel like it should just be done for them.
Yes.
Well, your customer service take care of it. Well, you know, you kind of had to do some things. You kind of had a little bit of some of this stuff happened because of what you did there.
You have the problem for a reason.
Yes.
You're calling me for help because you have a problem.
90% of the time, it's something that person did.
Yeah, and that's when I have to be in that situation or something. That's another thing I try to do is think, okay, and I'll even tell them, like, you know, I'll even start it that way, like, hey, look, I have this issue. I try to explain it to them.
This is what I've done.
What
am I missing?
Yeah, is this exactly what am I missing? Is this something I'm doing wrong?
Right.
What can I do to fix this or whatever?
Yeah.
Not, you know, you need to fix this right now. It's, you know, your company's whatever.
Customer service reps.
Yeah.
CSRs.
CSRs.
To be a
That's
CSR. It's a tough gig.
job.
It's a tough gig, man. That's why there's so much turnover in that line of work.
And probably don't get paid enough.
Probably why I don't do it anymore.
Exactly. You were probably excellent at that, and you're probably even more excellent at the job you do now, which is sales, because it's the same kind of thing. You're a people person.
Well, I don't know about
You're great at communicating with people and making them feel welcome and comfortable and that kind of thing. So then you slip in the, hey, I got this.
You're making me blush over here.
I got this lumber for you. You know, I'm
if
such a nice guy. You gonna buy this?
I don't know if it's
you gonna buy this particle board from me? I know nothing about what you sell, so I just said particle board. No.
Close. Anyway,
let's finally get to it. Okay, NBA fans, I know
it's here.
Tyler, if you're still hanging with us, the people who are big NBA fans. We're ready to discuss.
Look, I really don't think there's a ton to go over here. I feel like the first game's tomorrow night, Thursday night. Next week we'll have a ton. It's gonna we'll probably lead the show off with the NBA Finals. But right now, you know, we're kind of at this point, and correct me if I'm wrong on this. I feel like everybody's talking about Kawhi right now. Kawhi. When the Warriors got done sweeping Portland, it was all Steph.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you know, 5-6 days go by. Now Kawhi's the guy, so it's all about Kawhi. We're definitely a in the moment kind of people. So now all of a sudden it's like, man, this is a team that can beat them. This is a team that can beat the Warriors. Whereas 4 or 5 days ago, that you ain't beating the Warriors. Nobody's beating the Warriors.
Right.
But we didn't get to see the Warriors for a while. We got to see Kawhi, who is, it's. I don't even want to say this is the Raptors. It's Kawhi Leonard and the rest of the Raptors. Either way, I still think this is Golden State with KD, without KD. We know he's not playing in game 1 or 2. He did travel with the team. Hopefully he sits right next to Drake. But I don't know, man. I don't know how, you know, until this thing gets in, it's really just us saying what we think's going to happen.
It is. By the way.
Oh, yeah, that's what we do on this, isn't it?
That's exactly what we do. By the way, you mentioned, you know, Golden State swept Portland, and then, you know what? Toronto swept Milwaukee. They won 4 straight games. It was after losing the first two. But they beat them 4 straight games. Milwaukee had not lost 3 consecutive games all year long, and they lost 4 in a row there. I couldn't have been more wrong about that. I mean, I thought Milwaukee was going to win this series in 5 or 6.
I believe I said Raptors in 6.
You said, yeah, you did pick the Raptors. I know that.
I'm pretty sure I said Raptors in 6.
You did pick. We should have bet. That would have been your first win.
I said they were going to take 3. They were going to take game 3.
Yes, so...
Holy cow, we've got a Parker Witt. Coming in. Yeah, buddy. Go ahead and talk about it. I'm gonna take care. I'm gonna take care of the dog and the boy came into the studio.
Nice.
So you continue to talk NBA Finals.
Got Parker and Luna Witt. Okay, so we did get sweeps in the 2 conference finals, right? Now we go on to, and Chris is right, we're talking Kawhi as being the best player in the league right at this moment. Yesterday from the finals in, was it 2004, 15, something like that. Kawhi, I think Kawhi's rookie year. LeBron's at the free throw line for Miami. Substitution after the first free throw. He looks back at the table. Kawhi's entering the game. LeBron looks forward and gives this big grimace like, oh, man, because Kawhi was coming back in the game as a rookie. Kawhi Leonard gives everybody, no matter how good they are, gives them problems when he's on defense, they're on offense. He has now turned himself into one of those top elite offensive players as well. He can shoot the ball. He can get his own shot. He can come off of screens. He's a pretty good passer, actually. I think maybe a little underrated as a passer. Kawhi Leonard is on fire right now as a player,
Like nobody else.
in the media, among fans. This is going to be really interesting because he got some support. Kawhi was hobbled a little bit during a few of those games, during most of that series actually, and he had to get Norman Powell, Fred VanVleet, Pascal Siakam.
Yeah.
All these guys, Kyle Lowry.
Fred VanVleet, seven bombs in that game.
He
7
did.
or game 6.
He really played well in those last 2 or 3 games. Now, they're going to have to get that same. They're going to have to get those same contributions from the supporting cast. I don't think against this team, Kawhi is going to be able to carry 90% of the load like he has a lot of the year, right? And I hate to keep saying stuff like that because they really have a good bench. They have other good players who have stepped up and played well. It's just the Warriors are a different team. And they're a different team, like you said, with or without KD.
It's going to be 2 different types of teams. They can be 2 different types of teams, and at the same time, both those 2 types of teams can be the best team you'll see all year.
They are the 2 best teams in the league.
Yes.
The Warriors are the 2 best
KD.
teams in the league. Right. So, and speaking of KD, that's been the big thing too. Is he coming back? They've already said he's out for game 1. He's probably going to be out for game 2. We'll see what happens in game 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 if necessary. But we keep talking about whether Durant's going to be back in these finals or not.
Mm-hmm.
We have forgotten about DeMarcus Cousins, who it sounds like is going to be back possibly for game 1.
Wow, really? I didn't even think about that. But is that good for him? Is he quick enough to get up and down the court as their big man? I mean, I guess who's he replacing? Who would he be replacing? It's not going to be Draymond. Draymond is
you're not going to replace their point guard.
Yeah, exactly. But I don't know, man.
They brought in Andrew Bogut to after
and he's definitely going to be faster than Bogut,
for
and
sure.
he can shoot better than Bogut, and he can back a guy down better than Bogut. I mean, he's all around better than Andrew Bogut. However,
before he got hurt, he really wasn't playing a ton of minutes. He was still only playing maybe 20 minutes a game or maybe even less than that. So I think he's probably going to go back to that same role. Maybe he'll start. I'm not sure. I can see him maybe not starting at first. And then if he plays well in the minutes he gets, maybe he starts or whatever, but still only plays 18 to 20, 22 minutes or something like that. And it depends, like you say, it depends on how they play, how he meshes. The way they're playing right now, Seth Curry, by the way, another beef that Kevin Durant has right now. Seth Curry said after that series, they're tougher to guard without Kevin Durant because they move so much more. Yeah. They move faster. They move more. It's more difficult to guard that team without Kevin Durant. Is it going to be the same deal with Boogie Cousins? Is he going to make it a little easier?
No, I don't know. I think Boogie's he's seen enough and heard enough and has seen how this team's played without him, I would hope, and he's able to play that type of basketball where he can go down low and distribute or be the open man, set screens, do his thing, and still get a few shots. I think he can do that way better than KD can. I mean, KD's proven that, they do it every now and then when he's on the floor, but for the most part, it doesn't happen.
If DeMarcus Cousins sets his ego aside and says, I am going to screen for 24 seconds of every shot clock for Steph Curry and for Klay Thompson.
You're going to get open dunks. You're going to get open shots.
Exactly. If I get the ball, even in the post, I'm probably looking first for shooters and cutters. And then if I don't have anything there, then I may score.
Right.
Then I may dominate like I used to and score down low. He can step out and shoot a jumper too, though. That's the thing.
Yep.
He can be part of that offense.
100% he can.
So he doesn't have to slow it down too much. It might slow down a little, but if he lets his ego go and he says, if I play the style that fits with this team, which I can, I think we're going to be really successful, and I can be part of it and feel good about it, even if I only play the 18 to 22 minutes.
Right. So
rebound your butt off, defend your butt off, pass the ball, set screens.
He's like you said, though. I don't think he's going to see a ton of minutes. I think he'll see 15 to 20 minutes, maybe 25 in a game. Towards the end. So, but let's get to the actual game. Kawhi's known as one of the best defenders, if not the best defender in the NBA. Now, you need a lot of defenders against a team like Golden State, and it's going to wear you out playing a team like Golden State. He's shown that he can play defense on the best player and still play almost all of the game. And, Tyler Roop's funny. And he can play almost all of the game and still be able to play his game on offense, although his legs are obviously giving out. Now, is he going to be able, one, to be healthy? I mean, he's getting a ton of rest because the NBA is giving him like 2 weeks off in between.
Yeah.
But he's going to get rest. He's going to have to guard a combination of guys. He'll be on Steph. He'll be on Klay. He's going to play. You need him. He's your best defender. He's got to play their best guy. Will him playing a team like Golden State that moves like Golden State, at least in these first two games in Toronto, will that affect him on his offensive side of the ball?
I don't necessarily think so, because, and I was saying this when you were handling family business a minute ago.
Yeah. When the Rum Dum Studio's in your basement, there's an opportunity for the boy to come down at midnight.
Family comes first. That's the way it is. But no, I was saying that's kind of what I was saying is we know about how good he is defensively. You just said maybe the best defensive player all around in the league. But he has turned himself into one of the best offensive players too.
Sure, because he can do everything. Mm-hmm. He can do everything on the court, which is why Steph or KD is so dangerous, because he can do everything on the court. But whereas a lot of these other scorers, like we saw with Giannis, a big reason why they were able to take care of Milwaukee is because Giannis has got one thing that he does really well, and that's drive and dunk and finish strong at the basket, and they did not let him do that. And that's a big reason why they ended up winning those last 4 games. Partly for what Kawhi has done, but Kawhi can shoot the three. Mm-hmm. Kawhi can get at you. He's, for some reason, he dunks with that left hand over people all day long. Mm-hmm. He finishes strong at the basket, and he loves the mid-range jumper. He's like an anomaly in the NBA. He loves the mid-range jumper and hits it consistently.
Kawhi Leonard should be my favorite player in the league. He's one of them for sure because he plays so hard on defense. He dispels all those rumors from people who don't really watch the NBA that much.
Yep.
that still say after years and years they don't play defense in the NBA. If you watch Kawhi Leonard play, a lot of it is because his arms are so long and his hands are the size of my entire body.
Gets his hands on everything. Yeah,
and he's a very smart, he's a very intelligent player. His basketball IQ, I have no idea what his regular real world IQ is because he doesn't talk.
Yeah.
But his basketball IQ is super high, and he has.
Do you think there's a
himself
way
in-
to test for that? Basketball IQ, baseball IQ, football IQ. Is there a way to test it?
watch?
Is that
Watch.
it?
Have
Just
other
watch 'em
smart basketball and baseball people
tell you.
tell you like that's a
I
smart
wonder if they
basketball
say it's like a 206.
I
I
don't
don't
know
know
if
what the
there's a-
scale is.
Yeah, I don't know if there's a number.
So
maybe
if
maybe
like
the
the
scale's
top
up
is
to 207.
up to 208.
Sure.
I don't know.
Sure. And do you count by 10s, 20s, 1s?
Well, it can't be 10s or
60s?
20s if the top's 208,
Yeah.
unless you get 8 points for getting your name right. Then you can go.
Okay. See, then you're right.
All right. All right. Get off that because we're at an hour and a half already.
Yeah.
And let's figure it out. Let's talk about what we think is going to happen in this. Not what's going to happen, but how we've kind of talked about what we think is going to happen about these two teams. The big parts of it. Obviously, it's going to come down to Siakam, how he plays. It's going to come down to Fred VanVleet, who's played phenomenal so far in the postseason, or at least in the Eastern Conference Finals.
Kyle Lowry's time to shine for real now.
Now for real, exactly. We know what the other parts of Golden State are. We know what they are in Toronto, but we don't necessarily know what they can do on this kind of stage. We've seen that they've got them here. Siakam struggled in a couple games. Lowry struggled in a couple games. Those are your next two guys on that team that need to step up and play good every single game. I'm saying Golden State in 5. I'm going to give Toronto one of the first two games in Toronto. They're just on a crazy high right now. I'm going to give them one of the first two games in Toronto, but I'm saying Golden State in 5.
That's fair, and I'm pretty close to that. But I'm going to say Golden State in 6. Just because I thought I picked Milwaukee to beat Golden State in 7 in the finals, and the Raptors essentially swept.
Basically,
basically
they won 4
swept
straight.
The Bucks. So, if Golden State continues to play the way they played against Portland, it might be a short series, like you say.
Yeah.
But I'm going to give just the way the Raptors have been playing the last few games and figured out how to beat who was the best team all year in basketball. Figured out how to beat them 4 times in a row.
At the same time, though, 5 bounces on a Kawhi throw up fadeaway jumper in the corner, and they're not even here.
Yep, you're right.
So that's hard to say when they could barely get out of the Eastern Conference semifinals. It took a lucky. I'm going to call it a lucky shot. I don't think that it was lucky in the fact that he made it. I think it was lucky in the fact that a ball just doesn't do that on the rim.
It
normal
bounced several times. Yeah, you don't see that a lot.
Anyway, that's why I think and Golden State has shown throughout the entire playoffs that there's nobody that can play with them. And unfortunately, we forget about it, and we see all these other teams and all these other people do incredible things. But it's late in series. It's gone further than it should have or something like that. Golden State is too good all around. I hate to say it because I love to see a really good NBA Finals and go 7 and have fun and all that stuff. But this is they'll be lucky to get one, and I think they will. But that's what I say. That's
your prediction for the games. What's your prediction for how Drake handles himself?
Drake will be terrible. Drake is going to. This is going to be when it comes down. Drake's going to get a call after game 1 or 2. He's going to go a little too far overboard, or Steph. Or what's going to happen is Steph's going to come down and pull up from right in front of Drake 3 straight times and then do his little shimmy shake or whatever. Or he's just going to do it and hit on that third one. He's going to put it up, not even watch it go in, and just stare at Drake and run down the court. Boom. Drake's got to shut up at that point. You can't say anything at that point, can you? Well, I mean, you can.
If you lose like the first 2 or 3 games or something, he'll probably still be a little obnoxious, but you got to feel like if the Warriors have you down 2-0 or 3-0,
Well, you're not going to see him if they're
Probably.
down 3-0. You're not going to see Drake because they'll still be in Golden State.
Yeah, he might go though. I have a feeling
He's not sitting on
the
the floor right next to the bench. I can tell you that.
maybe not. We'll see. He's probably not.
I guess
up
he's got